The next topic is scalar invariants. So we know that scalar is basically it's a quantity which does not contain any direction. It just have magnitude. Isn't it? For scalar quantity there will be no direction. It just contain magnitude. That means this is a quantity that may be represented by just a single number. Single number. It does not depend on independent of coordinate system. Those quantities are called as scalar invariants. I repeat, quantities that may be represented as single number, may be represented by single number, and which is independent of coordinate system. So it is obvious, right? If there is any vector, you will express that in a coordinate system. Since scalar does not have any direction, you cannot express scalar quantities as coordinate system. That means scalar quantities are independent of coordinate system. So these type of quantities in tensor form we will call it as scalar invariants. Okay. For example, if I consider temperature, there is no direction for temperature. I can express temperature with a specific number. Specific number. So like 20 degree, 30 degree, 40 degree Celsius, like this I can express temperature. Even the density, mass, these all are the quantities that may be represented by a single number and which is independent of coordinate system. These type of quantities we call it as scalar invariants. So if I want to express my scalar invariants in a Cartesian tensor form, I can say if a scalar invariant is represented as a number A, say number A in xi system and A dash in xi prime system, then A dash will be equal to A. Okay, so if a scalar invariant is represented as a number A in xi system and a number A prime in xi prime system, then it is obvious that A prime is equal to A. So an entity obey this transformation, obeying a transformation law of this type is referred to as Cartesian tensor of order 0. So here for your understanding, for better understanding, you can think like for A dash and A there is no suffix, there is no alpha term, so obviously it is of order 0. Okay, this is nothing but scalar invariants. So now let's solve some problems on Cartesian tensor topic. The first problem is, in the xi system, we are considering one xi system in that a vector A has components. Okay, this A is an arbitrary vector. This A is an arbitrary vector, and for this vector there are components A1, A2, A3 and a tensor A. You should remember that always this thing should come to your mind. If I say a vector, it means order triplet. If I say tensor, it should be 3 cross 3 matrix. Okay, that thing should be there in your mind always. So tensor A has its matrix Aij is equal to 0, 1, 0, minus 1, 0, 2, 0, minus 2, 0. So the xi prime system is obtained by rotating the xi system about the x3 axis. So if any system, if it's rotate about the x3 axis, you know the direction cosine table. You have solved that in previous problem. So from that you can directly take the direction cosine table. There the angle we considered was just a theta. Here they have given the angle of 45 degree, that is theta is 45 degree in the sense of right-handed screw. Okay. Find the components of A and the matrix of A in the xi prime system. So here they have given the values of vector A in xi system. We should find out in xi prime system. Also tensor A they have given for xi system. This is for xi system, and we should find out for xi prime system. These two are the tasks we have to do. So let's see how we can solve the problem. This is the direction cosine table I have got from the previous problem. That is, we used the concept of any xi system rotating about x3 axis with an angle theta. From that concept I have got this direction cosine table. Similarly, this is the direction cosine table even we can use for this problem, since they have specified that xi prime system is obtained by rotating the xi system about the x3 axis. But the thing is, here they have given the angle theta is equal to 45 degree. So I know the value of theta. That means I know the exact rotation where my xi prime system is forming. So if I use this value here, I will get the table values as cos 45 degree is 1 over root 2, sin 45 is 1 over root 2, 0 as it is, minus sin 45 is minus 1 over root 2, cos 45 is 1 over root 2, 0, 0, 0, 1. This is the direction cosine table I am getting when the rotation takes place exactly at theta is equal to 45 degree. Okay. Now let's find the vectors in xi prime system. They have given in components of A in xi system. Okay, that is A1 is equal to minus 1, A2 is equal to 0 and A3 is equal to 1. This is for xi system. Now I have to find out a component of vector A in xi prime system. So from a transformation rule, I know that AI prime is equal to alpha IP AP. So if I give values for I and P, I will get A1 prime, A2 prime and A3 prime, that is in xi prime system. So let's solve that. A1 prime is equal to alpha 1P AP. This is nothing but alpha 11 A1 plus alpha 12 A2 plus alpha 13 A3. In this direction cosine table, I know the values of alphas. Okay. So alpha 11 is 1 over root 2 into A1 is minus 1 plus alpha 12 is 1 over root 2, A2 is 0 plus alpha 13 is 0 and A3 is 1. So A1 prime will be minus 1 over root 2. Similarly, A2 prime will be alpha 2P AP, that is alpha 21 A1 plus alpha 22 A2 plus alpha 23 A3. Similarly, if I give values to all this, I will get A2 prime. Alpha 21 is minus 1 over root 2 into A1 is minus 1 plus alpha 22 is 1 over root 2 into A2 is 0, alpha 23 is 0 and A3 is 1. So here I will get 1 over root 2, minus into minus it will be plus. So this is my A2 prime value. Similarly, A3 prime will be alpha 31 A1 plus alpha 32 A2 plus alpha 33 A3. Alpha 31 is 0 and A1 is minus 1. Alpha 32 is 0 and A2 is 0. Alpha 33 is 1 and A3 is 1. So A3 prime will be 1. So vector A has components minus 1 over root 2, 1 over root 2, 1 in xi prime system. So first part of the problem is over. The second part of the problem is they have given the tensor A matrix. Tensor A consisting a matrix Aij and the values are 0, 1, 0, minus 1, 0, 2, 0, minus 2, 0. This is in xi system. Xi system. Now I have to find out the tensor A in xi prime system. Okay. So tensor means Cartesian tensor of order A always represent second order tensor. Capital A in your continuum, the whole concept of your continuum mechanics, whenever I say capital A, it means that it is a Cartesian tensor of order 2. Okay. That means I know the transformation rule for Cartesian tensor of order 2, that is A prime ij is equal to alpha ip alpha jq a pq. Using this transformation rule, I can find out tensor A matrix in xi prime system. So let's solve how we can do that. If I give values to I, j, p, q, everything, I will get alpha ip into alpha j1 ap1 plus alpha j2 ap2 plus alpha j3 ap3. First I have considered these two and I have given the values. Okay, here q is the dummy suffixes, so I will get 3 terms for q. Now it will be, if I give values to p, I will take alpha j1 outside. I will get alpha i1 a11 plus alpha i2 a21 plus alpha i3 a31. This is for this term, plus alpha j2 into alpha i1 a12 plus alpha i2 a22 plus alpha i3 a32 plus alpha j3 into alpha i1 a13 plus alpha i2 a23 plus alpha i3 a33. This is the equation I will get. So in order to give values to A, you have to choose from your Aij matrix. Okay, so now you know that I will write alpha, what I will get, A prime ij is equal to, from this matrix A11 is 0, so this term will be 0, and A13 is 0. Where is A13? A13 is here. This term will be 0. A22 is 0. So this term will be 0. And A31 is 0. So this term will be 0. A33 is 0 and this is 0. A12 is 1. So this will be 1. A21 is minus 1. This is minus 1. A23 is 2. So this will be 2 and A32 is minus 2. So I will get, what I will get? This term will be 0. So alpha minus alpha j1 into alpha i2. This is minus 1. Here I will get alpha j2 alpha i1 minus 2 into alpha i3 alpha j2 plus 2 into alpha i2 alpha j3. So now let's give values to I and j. Okay. So if I is equal to j equal to 1, I will get A prime 1 1. This will be equal to minus alpha 1 1 alpha 1 2 plus alpha 1 2 alpha 1 1 minus 2 alpha 1 3 alpha 1 2 plus 2 alpha 1 2 alpha 1 3. So these two terms gets cancelled and these two terms gets cancelled. So a dash or a prime 1 1 will be 0. Similarly, I should find out all other terms. So a prime 1 2 is equal to, give I is equal to 1 and j is equal to 2. You will get minus alpha 2 1 alpha 1 2 plus alpha 2 2 alpha 1 1 minus 2 alpha 1 3 alpha 2 2 plus 2 alpha 1 2 alpha 2 3. So here alpha values you will choose from your direction cosine table. Okay. From that you can find out a dash 1 2. If you substitute all the values, you will get a prime 1 2 as 1. Okay. Similarly, a dash 1 3 you will get it as root 2 and a dash 2 1 will be minus 1. A dash 2 2 will be 0. A dash 2 3 will be root 2. A dash 3 1 will be minus root 2. A dash 3 2 will be minus root 2 and a dash 3 3 will be 0. You can verify this. You will get these values for your a prime ij matrix. So finally I can write a prime ij is equal to 0 1 0, a prime 2 1 minus 1, 2 2 is 0, 2 3 is root 2. This is minus root 2 minus root 2 0. Okay, wait. This is root 2 3 1 1 3. Okay. A prime 1 3 is root 2. This is the second part of your problem. The next problem is, show that each of the two rules, these two transformation rules, follows from the other. That means if you consider your transformation rule A, you should get rule 2, and if you consider this, you should get this. So we have to show that we will get the transformation rule B if we consider transformation rule A and vice versa. So let's solve that, how we will get. I have considered your transformation rule A. For this, I will multiply alpha im, alpha jn on both sides. Okay, what I will get? Alpha im, alpha jn, a prime ij is equal to alpha im, alpha jn and alpha ip, alpha jq, apq as it is. Okay. So this will be equal to, now what I will do is, I will consider this and this, alpha im, alpha ip. Using substitution property, you can write alpha im, alpha ip as delta mp. Again, I will consider alpha jn and alpha jq. Similarly, using substitution property, you can write it as delta nq. APQ is as it is. Okay. So, again from your substitution property, this alpha MP, alpha NQ, APQ reduces to AMN. This will be equal to alpha IM, alpha JN, A prime IJ. So, you can observe here, I have considered your transformation rule A and I got your transformation rule B. So similarly, if I consider transformation rule 2, that is Aij is equal to alpha Pi, alpha Qj, A prime PQ, I should get your transformation rule 1. So let's see how we will get. Again, I will multiply alpha Im, alpha Jn on both sides. Alpha Jn, A prime ij is equal to alpha im alpha jn alpha pi alpha qj A prime pq. From your substitution property, this reduces to delta mp. These two reduces to delta nq A prime pq. From substitution property, this reduces to A prime mn, that is equal to alpha im alpha jn, this is not prime, right, aij. So I have considered transformation rule 2, I got transformation rule 1. This means that each of the two transformation rules can be expressed or can follow from each other.